All right, let's do a little bit more product design. I'm working on this JBL speaker in Blender. Okay, this one right here. JBL Charge or something, because one of my clients, he wants me to design custom textures, custom patterns and shit for the JBL, just I don't know for what purpose. But when I'm making this thing, I need to make a texture on the outside of the speaker. It has this kind of fabric cover. Okay, this is probably the same in any speaker. But if you Google JBL Charge 3, you're gonna see what this texture looks like. It's kind of like a fabric texture. Okay, so I'm gonna show you how you can make custom patterns, custom surfaces, like high complex surfaces like fabrics, carbon fiber or some shit like this, or some kind of tiles, how you can make these into textures if you can't find them on the internet, because I can find fabrics but I can't find anything quite like this. And this is like a very enlarged version of what this surface looks like, what this fabric looks like. So we're going to turn this into a material which we can easily just apply to any object. We don't have to model anything. We don't have to have high polygons or anything like this. Okay? So here's what's going to happen. We have to make this fabric. And to make this fabric, first we have to model it in 3D. Okay? We have to model it the same way I model it over here. Then we have to bake it as a normal map. And that way we can use that normal map inside of a material, so we can just simulate the patterns and the surface of a fabric kind of texture, you know? So we're gonna do 3 steps, right? We're gonna model it, we're gonna bake it, and we're gonna apply it to material. We're gonna adjust some other properties in that, okay? So you can do anything with this. I usually do carbon fiber with this method. Anyway, enough talking, here's what you have to do, all right? I have this on the side as a reference. I'm just going to add a plane, and I'm going to scale that plane on the x-axis by 3, okay? It's very important, we're gonna have to tile this, all right? This is gonna have to be seamless. So we're gonna go to top view. Maybe we shouldn't go to top view yet. I think maybe 3 is even a bit too much, but let's see. This one from before we had, it covers 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Mine covers 6 right now. Anyway, something like this, right? We're gonna come over here. We're gonna split this sucker into multiple pieces. I think I'm gonna go with 5 instead, just because I don't want to mess anything up. No, 6 is probably a better idea. We're gonna split this based on the grid over here with some loop cuts, right? And we're just gonna remodel it until we get like a little string, a little part. This is like one string of the fabric, one little piece of the fabric, you know? So now I'm going to extrude this, give it some thickness or something like that, just to make it 3-dimensional. And the top part obviously is gonna have to be a little bit thinner, so we're just gonna inset that really quick, and we're gonna subdivide this. After we subdivide this, probably gonna have to make a few more changes to the object, like maybe we're gonna add a loop cut down the middle. We're gonna make these a little bit smaller, just so it looks a little bit more like a single stitch, like a single, I don't know what you call this, a single weave, I don't know, whatever, right? And maybe I'll also move this up a little bit more. And this way, if I apply this object correctly, I can stack it so it's a perfect little pattern like this, all right? So the way it works over here is we have one tile, and then at the end of that one tile, we have another one, which is rotated by 90 degrees. Let me use my median point here. Okay, 90 degrees, it's something like this. Okay, it goes on top of this one. Forget about this one, this is just my reference. And then we have another one of these, and then we have another one of these, like this. I'm just gonna tile it a few times like this, okay? And then we come to a point where at the top of this, we have to have another one of the top stitches, right? One of the horizontal stitches, okay? And we're gonna have another one here, like this, and then there's going to be another one of these, all right? And we just kind of tile them like this until we get to a point where we can just duplicate these and easily copy them as many times as we want to, right? So now we can just have, I don't want to copy this one, I want to copy these two, so that I can just duplicate it like this, right? Or maybe I think I have to have these from the bottom as well. So like this, I'll just tile them. I don't want this one. See, I'm fucking it up now. I don't want to have this one. Now we also fucked something up again. We have to do the same thing that we did before, right? We copied it once. We copied this once. Now we're gonna copy it again, like this, right? So you just have to figure out a way that you can tile it and it's gonna work pretty seamlessly and smoothly like this. So you don't have to do it too many times, as long as we get a pattern which we can repeat a couple of times and we can bake it into a texture. I don't want these guys from the side. I just want to copy everything else from over here. See, if I do it like this, then I have to copy these one more time, or I think I'm gonna need the ones in between instead. I'm gonna have to copy these like this. Just figure it out. There's no one way to do it. Just use your common sense and figure out how to tile these properly. So now you have like a weave, a pattern or something like this. You can reshape these a little bit if you want to. Maybe you can control them by making them a little bit thicker or something like that. Maybe you can make them all, you can use Alt-S on all of them to make them a little bit I don't know, just change the shape a little bit, do whatever you have to do, right? Like this. Alt S is gonna make it a bit thicker, a bit more filled so there's less space. And now we have to turn this into a normal map. So I'm gonna take all these objects, I'm going to join them into one object. So I'll select one as the last, Control J. Now they're all part of the same object, they're all on the same mesh, right? And I can apply my subdivision surface. And now I have to figure out a way to place a plane on top of this so that I can bake this as a seamless texture, right? So here's how you do this. I'm gonna add a plane and I'm gonna place it somewhere. Make sure you add the plane somewhere where you can tile it, okay? So this follows my tiles in the background. It can't be placed like this because then I won't be able to place it correctly, okay? But if it's exactly aligned with the grid like it is, now I can place it somewhere like here. And I just have to figure out how to scale this so that I can get a seamless texture, okay? If I scale this, let's say twice, that's not gonna cut it, maybe 4 times. See, if I scale it 4 times, then I'm only covering, it's kind of hard to see what's underneath, but then whatever I'm covering, maybe this way was a little bit easier. It starts here and it stops with this again. So if you tile this, you're gonna get another one of these. So we should have it a little bit bigger. Instead of scaling it by 4 times, we're gonna scale it by 5 times. Let's see what happens then, right? See, now it ends on this one. It still continues with the other one. So let's scale it by 6. See what happens then. Now it looks like we can tile it, okay? Because now it ends at the top left corner of one of the horizontal stitches, like this. Okay, I also have a short that I made for this shit. I want to break it down a little bit more. It ends with the top left corner of one of the horizontal stitches, which means on the right side of this, on the next tile, we're gonna have the top right corner of this, which is exactly what's happening on this side, which is the top right corner of a horizontal stitch. So if we duplicate whatever's gonna be on this part underneath this plane, we copy it here, it's gonna align perfectly and we can tile it as many times as we want, we can scale it, it's gonna be perfectly seamless, all right? Now, let's switch over to shading. I don't want to look at this ugly stuff. So I'm going to select this plane, I'm gonna add a new material, and we need an image texture node. All right, image texture in this new material, which is only on the plane, nothing else has a material, just the plane. Create a new texture and name that fabric normal map, okay, 1024. You can make it bigger, high resolution, but this is, even you probably gonna go smaller on this because if you're gonna make this a lot larger, you're gonna tile as many times, so it doesn't have to be very detailed. 512 by 512, blank generated type, let's go, all right? It's very important that you set the color space to non-color, all right? Change this to non-color, and now if you plug this into the base color, you're just gonna see probably a black image because it's nothing, it's an empty image, it's exactly what we want. Fabric, we can open it up in the image editor on the side so we can look at it. Select this node in this material, okay? And then go to your 3D view, select the shit at the bottom, select the surface that you want to bake onto the normal map, then select the plane. Okay, so you have both selected, but the plane was selected last because that way the plane is active. That way the plane is the last object which you selected. So it has an orange outline, whereas this other stuff has a red outline, all right? Go to render properties, switch this to cycles, and you're gonna have to scroll down and find the bake menu. In the bake menu, switch the bake type to normal because we're baking a normal map, all right? And just check selected to active. Now you're good to go. You also want to make sure to reduce your samples because you don't need any samples for this, but if you have more samples, it's going to be slower. I don't know why. So just set your samples to like 1 or something. I don't know if 0 is going to work. I just go with 1. And then if you click bake, you're going to have to wait a little bit, okay? Because for some reason, this shit takes a long time. This one was fast because it was a low resolution. But if you go 1024, 2048, it's going to take forever to bake sometimes, all right? But now we have an image, which is a normal map of our fabric, which means that we can now take this image, which is on this plane. Let's go to our preview. Look at this, right? That's a normal map. If we just apply this as a normal map, so instead of plugging it into base color, we're going to add a normal map node. We're going to plug this color into color of the normal map node, and the normal of the normal map node, we're going to plug that shit into the normal input of the principal node. Look at this. It looks like there is a bumpy surface. We can change the color. Okay, we can change the roughness, we can make it more rough, we can make it more reflective. Whatever you want to do with it, you can do it now. And now the best part is if you select this, make sure you have your Node Wrangler enabled for this. Okay, go to Edit Preferences, Add-ons, Node Wrangler, check this sucker. Okay, click this. And press Control T when you have your image texture node selected. all you have to do is with the default setup, just increase the scale at the bottom. Press 5 here, tab 5, tab 5. You can increase the number of tiles that you have here. And now you can just do this on your speaker. So I can select my speaker, new material. I can probably even just apply the red material that we have here because I can switch the mapping mode to object, and then I don't even have to UV unwrap it. So object, box, boom. Now the entire speaker has this fabric over it, okay? Now we're gonna have to apply some other materials. We're gonna have to change some more properties. If you wanna see more videos of what I'm gonna do with this JBL, I still have to add a string like this. I'm still gonna have to add this speaker for a little logo. I'm still gonna have to do whatever is at the top here. If you wanna see more videos like this, let me know in the comments. I'm gonna put this product as well as some other shit that I'm modeling on my channel, on my Patreon, so you're gonna be able to download that shit there. I'm putting that on Patreon. There's also full tutorials, so go check that out, okay? Let me know what you wanna see next, and I'll see you guys in the next one.